Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's episode 9 of the Foyne Jones Show. We're on season 6. We're inspiring our stars of the future, and today it's an exciting one. We're on location in Clerkenwell. We're with Alex Cooper and the team of Sanipex UK. Welcome to season 6 of the Foyne Jones Show. This is episode 9 and we've got a returning guest. Alex Cooper's back in the studio. But here you go, boys and girls. We're not in the studio. This is our second episode on location. We are where the streets are paved with gold. I'm a West London boy, but we're in Clerkenwell, home of Clerkenwell Design Week, so it's famously well timed. We've got Alex Cooper, Sales and Marketing Director of the Sanipex Group, and we're in the beautiful Bano Design showroom in Charterhouse Street. How good is this place, mate?
Mate, I'm loving it here.
You've got a great team. I've met Moses and Kit. You've got an amazing, beautiful products. And you know what? We've got a show to record. So today, we are going to be talking about your role.
Yep.
6 months in now. I know it's a special anniversary. We talk about what that journey's been like for you. We'll touch on the bathroom industry. We'll touch on the design industry. We'll touch on how that community is at the moment, what the future looks like. And with every guest we've had this season, we'll talk about you personally. And that is going to involve, Alex, a little bit of football banter.
Yeah.
It's going to let the guests get to know you. But more importantly, it makes you authentic, it makes you real. We're going to tell your story and your journey because we hope, Charlie, that by doing that, we're going to inspire our stars of the future. So how you been, mate? You good?
I'm very well, Peter. Yourself?
Yeah, mate, it's all good. My golf handicap's nowhere near as good as yours. How you getting on?
Mine's is stalled because I'm not playing, so it's not getting any worse, but it's not getting any better, mate.
Oh, mate, you're very low single figures still, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I don't know what you play off in the tournaments, though, mate. Eh?
I'm still one, but...
Yeah. He's a one, boys and girls. He's a one. But listen, let's talk about where we are today, because I've got to say, you know, when you step out of the station and you look to your right, there is these blue doors, and they stand out. It's a bit like an Aladdin's cave. Great location.
Yep.
Change from where you were in Kings Road.
Big change.
Let's just bring that to life for the listeners, mate. Talk to me about that.
So the change in the new direction sort of was starting to come about as I joined the company. So I've been here since 1st of November. So it's been a lot going on. We moved into the showroom just after Christmas into January here. So we've come out the Kings Road, we're back into the design district where everything's happening. This is where it's it's all bubbling away. And at the end of the day, most of our market's here. So it makes perfect sense to come back here. Location's fantastic for the simple reason everyone can get here from north, south, east and west. It's such a central point.
Well, you know, Charlie and I, like the royal family, we can't travel together just in case something happens to one of us. So he got the short straw because he drove up with all the kit. Right, I just breezed up. I just bimbled into Brighton Station, got a coffee. Hour and 10 minutes later, I'm walking past Smithfield Market, and here I am.
Perfect. And that's similar for me.
And that's the story, mate. So if I was in my old stomping ground, Fulham, where my heart is, I'm just a quick tube ride away. But I think for the architect and design community and the customer base that you have and the way the brand's positioned now, I think you've found your home again, haven't you?
Yeah, it's reinvigorated me personally. I'm probably as busy as I've ever been, but in such a nice positive manner. It's exciting. You get up in the morning being excited about the industry again.
And where we're recording this, in a beautiful showroom, it's almost like we're not in central London. There's not millions of commuters up there. We're here. It's quiet. It's relaxed. And I have to say, there's a warmth about the showroom in terms of welcoming you. And it gives you time to breathe. It gives you time to think. But from everything, and I think for anyone who's listening to get the chance to come here and experience it is something very special. So thanks for having us, mate.
No, thank you for coming.
For the uneducated or the un-out of our sector or the people that have been just, asleep for a few years.
Yeah.
I'd love to take a few minutes, mate, just to bring to life the size of the Sanipex Group,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
history of the Sanipex Group, and what it means here in the UK with Bano Design. Because when I look at it, I look at a brand which is quality. It's design led. There's innovation.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough, from a recruitment perspective, to get to know many of you, and there is a level of professionalism, but there's a level of personality there.
Yeah.
And it comes from quite humble beginnings. So I think if we could share that story and bring to life the size of the group and where you are in the UK, that'd be a great way to start the show, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've come in. It was a newer brand to me personally. They've been obviously around in the UK for over 11 years, but as a group, the company's been going 25 years plus, 26, 27 nearly now. Set up by our managing director, who's Group MD, Daryl. He's been in the industry from day dot, and they then moved over to Dubai and they set up Sanipex, and as a business we've grown with that side of the pond. Basically, we've grown with Dubai. We've built our brand as Dubai's built its infrastructure at the same time. So we're a very big entity over there. The group as a whole now is £100 million plus business. So it's not, we're a bigger ship than what a lot of them see in the UK as a whole. It's not just bathrooms, it's outdoor furniture and it's lighting. We call them Sanipex galleries out in Dubai.
We're on some of the outdoor furniture
We're
at the
sitting
moment,
on it
mate.
now,
And someone quite famous has got a bit of this, hasn't he?
Yes, I can't mention too many names, but he was a left-footed wonder left foot for United.
A left-footed winger who could have played for England but didn't.
But
that's the clue, boys and girls. That's the clue, boys and girls.
We've got some nice customer bases.
Yeah.
These are the kind of properties that the product's going into, and we're lucky. We're working. We're driving the brand through London predominantly, but the warehousing is up in the north in Leeds, in Bristol. Stock coming out in 48 hours. Got big stock holding there, but huge stock holding again in Dubai. So the collaboration with the group and
I think
backbone.
that's important, though, that you talk about the origins of the business and you talk about the being part of the growth of Dubai. That's fascinating in a way. That as the infrastructure of Dubai has grown, the brand's grown itself.
Yeah.
But I think what not a lot of people will be aware of is the amazing career pathways and the sheer volume of people that are part of the business, because it's a big headcount now, isn't it?
It is. We're 500 plus employees now, so it's a monster. And I was fortunate enough to get out there the first week of joining the company. Well, first day actually, I was on the plane, Emirates, flying out to Dubai. First time I've been in Dubai myself. I was due to go.
How'd you cope with the weather, being from Scotland?
It was nice. It was. I think I landed. It was 36, 37. But it's kind of weather you could get used to for sure.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place. But it was good to see it face value.
Yeah.
We've got more people in the marketing division there than I had in my last business.
Wow.
So it's a completely different entity for me, which is exciting because it gives me tools to do the job that you want to do and you've been wanting to do in this market for a long time. So we can then focus here on the sales and driving relationships and boosting the network that we've already got here. But we've moved the goalpost a little bit in the UK. We've tried different things out. I've come in and we're setting our standpoint again. It's a nice, almost a fresh slate, which is great for me. Got some new team members coming on board, which we've been speaking to yourself about, and I think they'll be nice to see. People will find it nice to see familiar faces popping up within the Sanipex group here in the UK.
I think one of the things that I've and it's a pleasure to work with the business, but from a recruitment perspective, one of the areas I'm so big on is doing the right thing. It's treating people how you'd like to be treated yourself, and that's not just one side. It's the individuals that want to join a brand doing the right thing. It's the hiring managers doing the right thing. It's the key stakeholders doing the right thing in the process. And from the get-go, yourself, the team in Dubai, the leaders we've been talking and working with, they do what they say they're going to do. They treat people the right way.
Yeah.
There's a process which is respectful,
Yeah.
and it's the right process because you're not just looking at a market and product fit or customer base, understanding customer base. You're looking at a cultural fit. You're looking at, will this individual add value to us? Will they fit in with how we do things? Will they bring something different? And I think that's what's really unique. And I guess as a sales and marketing director, with the global strength of the brand, that creates so many different areas of what you do in your role. So be a great platform, mate, just to share with the listeners what your role really means. How much of your time is with the A&D community? How much is with your stockists? How much is it with a team? Because a job title can mean so many different things in different environments. Let's bring to life your role, Alex.
I mean, day to day for me, it is a mixed thing. Like you've just mentioned, you touched on a lot of the points of what I'm doing.
You're juggling, mate. Like that,
it is a bit like that, and that's the that's the exciting part about it. Is it's every day is not the same. It's very diverse. It can be here one day, seeing the team here working out of the showroom, which in a nice building we've got here in Charterhouse Street, to being in Leeds, which I'm up there every couple of weeks, working again with the internal sales team, the warehouse and the operations, the commercial managers and things, and then it's out on foot out there on the in the street, going in and seeing showrooms, and I'm doing that going out, but I'm also bringing them here as well. So we're an extension of an arm of their showroom, really. So the showroom is for them. It's not just for our audience, it's for their audience, and we want them to embrace that, and we want them to bring them here.
It's a beautiful showroom. You don't want to be the best kept secret in London town, do you,
exactly,
mate? So
exactly.
it could be the best kept secret in the square mile if you're not careful. So actually inviting the audience in, bringing people to you, that's going to make a massive difference, not just to your role, but to the success your customers are having. And understanding your customers is where the magic's going to happen for you, isn't it?
100%. We are encouraging. We've taken on an ASM, joined us February. Harge, he's actually set up. He's got his own exhibitions in Bathnet, which were recently started. Something we've joined as well, and that's how we met Harge. And he's come in and he's got a good background from well-known companies within the industry, and he's using it. Lyndon uses it from the north. I've got Chloe now, which I'll come on to it later in her role. But we've got another ASM that we've been speaking to yourself about joining with us. So overall, it's to encourage them to get people in the door. I mean, we want it to be the most used showroom in London,
because that's what you want, mate. You want it to be alive in the evenings. You want it to be alive during the 100%. day. And I think you've got something to be really proud about here. And it's just the feeling of it, And what people who haven't been here won't realise is, if you haven't seen it, it's a shade of blue. So there's not many blue buildings if you walk around if you walk around central London. But interestingly, for me, what works really specially about it is that if you come out the station, you look all the way up the road, you get eyeball on the showroom.
Yeah, exactly.
So that gives familiarity, and people are like, well, that's different. What's going on in there? And then when those wooden doors open and you come in, then your jaw drops and you go, wow, we've got beautiful products. We've got an amazing world of design. It's inspirational. It's inspirational here. But I'm going to say something to you, Alex, and I think it goes in with the theme of this podcast. You can have all of that. You have best location in the world, best products in the world, best designers in the world, best design, best innovation, best product development. But with bad people, or people that are not up for it, and not people coming in, your business isn't going to perform. And this season, this podcast is about inspiring our next generation, because our industry has to compete. And we have to compete with areas like fashion. Yeah. People want to be influencers.
Yeah, absolutely.
They want to be creators.
Yeah.
They want to be footballers, like me and you.
Yeah.
I still do. I don't know. It may have passed me now, mate. You might still have a chance.
I don't know.
But if you look at the different environments where you can attract talent from, you want the best of those environments to come into our industry.
Yeah.
So whether that's a school leaver at the beginning of their apprenticeship journey, whether it's a college leaver on their journey, whether it's a grad on their journey, whether it's someone who's maybe transitioning out the armed forces, maybe someone who's offended and wants to go in the right, turn left and go in the right direction rather than turn right again. There's so much talent out there that our industry, and that's design industry, bathroom industry, KBB industry, bigger sectors, has a duty of care to inspire the next generation. And you told me, Alex, a couple of examples of two people, Chloe and Charlie, that journeys are going in different ways with your group.
Yeah.
And I love to share that, mate, because it's one, it celebrates what they're doing, but it's an example of how people can grow and become part of something very special.
Absolutely. Well, it's just trying to show, talking to you about it, is to show the diversity of our business and how we can bring. It's easy to go out there and bring in somebody that's skilled and been in the industry a long time, and sometimes you want that and you need that for certain roles, but we also want to encourage that, perfect title for it, the Rising Stars of the Future, is that Charlie's come in, he's sort of trainee grad kind of system in a way, and he will now go through 6-week blocks in the business, doing different stages of the business, from a warehouse and logistics, internal sales, and he will learn different skill sets, and it will allow us to position him in what's better for him and also what he would most enjoy doing within the company as well.
It's a great way to learn, though.
Yeah.
And we had a guest, didn't we, Charlie? We had a guest a few episodes ago. They went swimming in the sea, mate. I mean, I do encourage all my guests to have a dip, but I'm not going in the Thames for your son. So, do you know what I mean? I'll be in shopping trolleys and all sorts of things down there. And we won't mention all sorts of things. But Nick Boyle, and their products are very different, but still very valuable. They're under the ground in civil engineering. They're under the ground in utilities. But Nick brought his young sales director, Lee Wilcox, along. And Lee was brilliant. He spoke about his journey and the fact that through that, spending a couple of months here and a few weeks here and a few weeks in that department, he got an all-round understanding of what the business did. Yeah. So now, when he's talking to someone in product or talking to someone in marketing or talking to someone in HR or operations, he's got a more in-depth understanding of what challenges they're facing. So they're not just a phone number, they're not just an email address, they're actually a human being
100%.
In a department, and it makes what he said it's giving him that, he said, it was like I was a beginner all the time. Yeah. He said, I'm going back to the start again, I've got to learn again. But my God, you learn by doing. And that must be benefiting Charlie.
I think so. I remember when I did it myself, coming into previous role. You've got to do a bit of everything. I have to do a bit of everything now, and it's the only way you understand the whole business ethos.
Do you remember something you said in the last podcast? It was one of the most powerful quotes. It was, you've got to get comfortable feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, and probably come back on it later, but it's true, especially now. And I think I was referring as well at that time is about social media, so massive.
Mate. It was.
And would I want to stand in front of a camera? Would I have done a podcast? Would I have thought about doing these things? You just got to get used to it. You've got to get used to it. So you've got to get comfortable, like being uncomfortable.
I mean, what I would say, if you want to start doing that, get a good producer like Charlie.
That helps.
Right? Because you know what, if you get the talented people around you, you can make as many mistakes as you want and you can overcome it. But that journey that your Charlie's going on in terms of that experience, that's going to make him like an asset to your business. It's gonna help him in the medium to long term. And I say this to so many employers, so many hiring managers, so many stakeholders: look beyond the immediate hit the ground running and look at where someone could be in the medium to long term. What could they become? And that's the level of investment, level of developing, level of mentoring. Which can actually really help a brand grow.
Yeah, 100%. You got to keep. We will refer to football and things, but it's the same philosophies are all applied to all different structures. You got a team. You want to keep that. You want to grow them. You want to develop them, and then you'll bring other ones in to make that flourish in a better way and make it all gel better. And it is the same principles are still there. So we've got, as I say, mentioned Charlie, got Chloe as well. Chloe's been with us a little bit longer, but she started doing estimating. She's then gone out with one of our projects team and became sort of an assistant with that. And now she's got legs to go and do it herself. Basically, she's out in a car and she's out seeing customers, and she's so comfortable in doing it as well. It's what is deemed as a young age, but they're all getting younger. They're getting better as well. The
Someone
youth of today is getting better.
When I was young. Someone gave you a chance
exactly.
when I was young. Someone's giving our producer Charlie a chance when they're young. I think if you're ready and you're up for it, we all make mistakes and we all feel uncomfortable. But one of the messages that's come through in all of our episodes when we've asked our guests to think about the next generation is to do something you enjoy doing. It's to dream big. It's to kind of think about where you can get to and what you want to do. Because you can be on that hamster wheel of going through the motions, but actually think about where you can go. And I think the example of what Chloe's doing, where she's getting support from other members of the team, she's going out there to do the work she's doing. It's a testament to the business to give that belief in someone to progress them through. Because what that does, that generates energy. It generates a vibe where other people want to be part of that, and then you've got people pushing in the right direction. So I think that's something to be very celebrated.
No, I think so. I mean, again, using football analogies here, but if you're good enough, you're old enough. Age is a number. Come with that experience always helps all of us. But if they're capable of doing it, you've got to push them. You've got to nudge them out the door and let them go for themselves, because you're backing them up.
That's an example of a brand and a business doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And I think I can see that. I see that in your recruitment process. I see that in the transparency. I see that in the openness, the honesty, the willingness to jump on a quick call. Let's catch up, let's discuss this. That makes such a difference, because if you're a job seeker today, if you're looking to develop your career, you don't want to be ghosted by an employer. You want, 95% of job seekers, 95% of people looking for a new job are going to be disappointed. It's a roller coaster of spectacular highs and god awful lows.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if someone's being honest with you and giving you real feedback, and they're actually communicating to you, you don't like it, but you can deal with it.
Yeah,
you can
absolutely.
suck it up and you can go again. Most people's frustration when I speak to them is the unknown.
Yeah.
I've applied for that job and I've not heard back. And we do a lot of work in giving people strategies and tactics to make sure you hear back, but ultimately it can be very relentless. And we have a duty of care as an industry to be doing things the right way. And then we have a duty of care as well, and I mean that, to actually stand up and showcase the Alex Cooper story, showcase the founder of this business's story, and what he's achieved from humble
huge,
backgrounds, and I think that's what I love about the business. It's never forgotten its Yorkshire roots, has it?
No,
it hasn't
absolutely
forgotten
not.
its Yorkshire roots. It's smashing it up, having it off in Dubai in terms of where it is now. And then we're in the UK market, and we're in this beautiful showroom. What's that market like for you right now? Let's just focus on that.
That's a positive one. I mean, since I've come in particular, obviously I can only tell you what I've seen in the last 6 months, but you see where the business has been, the brand's been, you communicating with your audience, the retailers, the merchants. But all in all, positive one. We've got a new brochure not long out, just at the turn of the year, which we've been part of. We've had Hicks November last year, with Clerkenwell Design Week coming up. So it's been a really we're quite a fast-paced business, but we've got a great product offering, which it's nice to go out with something that people are excited by. It's nice, and because we're so diverse in our offering, there is something for variable retailers and things as well. So
I don't think people would expect the level, the breadth of products. And when you say that,
we don't
diverse,
pigeonhole ourselves in any manner. The market, as we know, is saturated in the UK in particular with products, and so you've got to be a little bit different. We know we've got good quality products, Italian products, and you've got that, and you need the right people to go and tell that story, and that's where the recruitment process comes into us. It's so important to us.
And from a Foyne Jones Recruitment Group perspective, we're proud to be a partner of this business, and we're working hard to keep that talent pipeline and to keep the brand there. And like any opportunity, it's going to be right for some people, not right for others, and those careers which a business like this can offer, they are truly, truly life-changing. Yeah. But every life-changing element starts somewhere, and you go through steps on that journey. And I think from a podcast perspective, from a season 6 perspective, inspiring the next generation and showing what our industry is about in a different way, in a podcast, in a video clip, in some videography, in a way which isn't always seen, makes it very, very special. Yeah. And it makes it special. And I think what we'll do in the second half of the podcast, mate, is we'll talk about the next generation. We'll give some advice on, from Alex Cooper in terms of what people to do, what people should be doing now to stand up and be noticed. Yep. How they should be thinking about developing their career in terms of job seeking, but in terms of longevity. We're also focus on Clerkenwell Design
Yeah.
Week, because we need to shout out loud what's going to be happening here and what that community, what you're going to bring to the community and what the community can bring to you. But we're also, Alex, we're going to dive a little bit into your two football teams.
Yeah.
All right, because I'm not going to let you forget the fact you support two football teams.
Yeah.
Neither of them are doing that well, mate.
No,
are they?
they're not. It's
No,
equally as bad.
neither of them are doing that well. I'm allowed to talk football because my
Yeah.
team have won a couple of games after we
Yeah.
pressed the self-destruct button in the FA Cup quarter-final. I am over that now, just I think. Yeah, I don't think Alexander Mitrovic is. He's still in the stands for a while longer, mate.
He is, yeah.
They didn't extend the ban, just the eight games. So, but that's where we are. But the Foy and Jones Show season 6, we're inspiring our stars of the future. Charlie and I are recording with Alex Cooper on location on Charterhouse Street, Bango Design. What a beautiful showroom. We'll see you after the break.
Life-changing recruitment for the KBB, builders merchant and construction industries. Creative social content, specialist knowledge, world-leading video technology, helping you find career happiness and helping your business attract its stars of the future. We are Foyne Jones. This is what we do.
Welcome back to the Foy and Jones Show. This is episode 9. I'm joined by Alex Cooper. We're at Bango Design in Clerkenwell. Beautiful showroom on Charterhouse Street. But I've got to say some thank you. So thank you to our sponsor, Marcel Creasy from MHK Holding UK. Without Marcel, we don't have a show.
No, exactly.
So he's a brilliant sponsor, passionately supporting the next generation, passionately supporting our industry. So thank you to him. And the biggest thank you is to every single one of our listeners. It doesn't matter if you're one of the growing audience on YouTube, which is something small becoming something beautiful for us, or whether you're one of the regular listeners on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Without you, there's no point putting this together. And the feedback I've been getting this series is great, because it's people say to me, I didn't know he supported that football team, and everyone knows I support Fulham, but getting football in is something which is close to my heart. And I think getting to know people away from the day job is really, really important. So, Mr. Cooper, the last time you was on the Foy and Jones Show, Fulham Football Club were a championship team.
They were.
I'm pleased to say that we're now a Premier League team. We are punching well above our weight. We're in the top half. There's a certain team down the King's Road who are looking up at us. Long may that continue. We took 4 points off them this season. But I want to talk about your teams, Alex. So just for the benefit of the listeners, what two teams do you follow again?
I'm Tottenham for the south of the water. Or south of the wall, I should say.
South of the wall. He's got Game of Thrones on us, Charlie.
South of the wall, and I'm a Hearts fan.
He's a Jambo. He's an Edinburgh boy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those football teams at the moment. And I'm sure producer Charlie Laguna's gonna probably chip in at some point. He's got a big few weeks ahead.
He has, but they might put a smile on my face yet. You never know.
I don't think it's a good big few weeks ahead.
He's really
anyway,
nervous.
I can't wait to see Wednesday night.
I can.
I mean, and the reality is as well, when this show goes out, everyone's going to know the result of that as well. So one of us who's going to come up with something is going to have something on their face, which may be a bit of embarrassment.
I'll be interested to see Charlie's forecast for that.
I mean, let's talk about Hearts and Tottenham, and it's been. Bring us up to date. How's the Hearts season looking? Not that good.
It was going very well, actually.
Yeah, started well.
It started well. It was sitting third quite comfortably, but they've hit a rocky patch. Nielsen's gone, the manager. Ex-Hearts player Naismith's come in. We did get a big win at the weekend. We beat Ross County 6-1 . So hopefully there's still chance of Europe.
You got your Hearts handkerchief there, mate. You got the Hearts colours.
Yeah. So there's still hope that we should. We might be able to nick Europe, but it's the way the Scottish football runs. They've got the top 6 now playing each other, so you're not going to pick a lot of points up because Celtic and Rangers are obviously tough to compete with.
They tend to dominate up there, don't they?
Yeah, massively.
They tend to dominate. So let's get a bit closer to home. Not that far away, all right? As the crow flies, not that far away at all. We probably have to pass Charlie's ground first. But White Hart Lane, amazing football ground.
Love it.
Amazing,
new stadium's fantastic.
New stadium, top draw,
Yeah.
best in class, arguably.
Oh, yeah.
Apart from Fulham's new stand, which
not
is
bad.
which is Fulham have suddenly priced themselves out of the football.
Yeah, I can't afford to go to Fulham. I can still afford to go to Spurs.
Yeah,
you know?
you can afford anywhere else, but you can't afford Fulham. Not in the new stand.
No.
In my seats, you can,
You're
mate.
right.
Yeah, I keep it real. I'm in the wooden seats,
I'll
mate.
buy a
all right?
wooden seat then as
yeah,
well.
you come and have a seat with me. But it's been. I don't know how many managers they've been on this season now, but it's been unexpected, isn't it?
There's something fundamentally wrong. I mean, previously I was a big fan of Levy. I like from a business aspect, I like the way he was running the business of the club. But it's got to a point where you've got to stretch yourself a little bit. But you can't go through that many quality, high class calibre managers and something fundamentally not be wrong in the background.
There is something right. I mean, I remember when I mentioned this in a Jason Key podcast, and he's
another one. I know Jason. I've met Jason.
Big Tottenham fan, Jason is, and and I was talking about when Tottenham come to Fulham on a Monday night, and Fulham bossed the first half hour of that game, didn't score. Harry Kane got half a chance, scored a worldie, a really good goal. He took 4 players out, put it in the corner. That's why he's England captain. That's why he's record goal scorer for England. Fair enough. Second half, Spurs shut up shop, 1-0 away win. We weren't disgraced, but but that's what it was. But normally, when the Spurs fans come, mate, you get the Chaz and David, and you get the glory Tottenham Hotspur really slow. You get the real fans behind it. There was a lot of Levy out. There was, there wasn't they didn't feel like they were with the team, mate. And that's got to be a factor now, because I think the club's lost the fans at the moment.
Oh, massively, but. Fulham's another club. We're lucky in London. We've got a lot of clubs that have played good football over the years, and Tottenham have always been notorious for being a footballing club. And since we've had the Mourinhos, the Contes, they're not football. They don't play the attractive football that the fans want to see. And there's sometimes, but then are you glorious in defeat a little bit, because we might have the flair games, but we're now sitting in a very comfortable top 6, continuously. So there is massive positive. We've got the infrastructure there to build.
It's that difference. I mean, it's a difference between a trophy cabinet and being an entertainer. Where do you sit?
Yeah, it's a results business. Everything is in the world, really. Everything's a results business. You can make it as attractive you want, but you got to get it done, and they don't get it done anymore. So something's got to change. But I don't know. Will it change while Levy's there? I don't know.
Well, I wanted to jump in on this, if that's all right. So today, on the day that we're recording, we're releasing our episode with David Blitz, who's a Tottenham fan as well. And when he was in the studio, I asked him this question, which was, I'm getting a real impression there's an air of, we want real change around the club now. And I said to him, would you be in the Levy out camp? And he said, actually, I wouldn't be, because I'm in the careful what you wish for camp.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, what's your view on that?
I agree with David on that one, but 100%. I was always a lead.
We're just a Tottenham Hotspur fan.
Well,
it's becoming like it.
That's free in the first 9.
Yeah, that's not bad, is it? That's a good ratio.
Because
anyway.
David really supports Leighton Orient. That's the thing. He's another one. So he's another. But and I don't know what he loves more, Leighton Orient bricks or Tottenham. I don't think he could answer that. If you did it, name that tune, he wouldn't know where to go. But that's a great point, Charlie. And
I was a Levy fan, as I say, from a business infrastructure. Like David's point out, you got to be careful what we wish for. You got to remember where we were, where we've come from. We're sitting, avoiding relegation some seasons. We're now in this very top echelons of the Premier League continuously, and we're moaning about being 5th and 6th in the league. You think what we were moaning about 10 years ago or 15 years
Charlie,
ago.
I mean, you won't come anyway. I won't be short of invites for the Tottenham Fulham game next season.
No,
mate.
exactly.
They should be lining
raffled,
up. They should be lining up, and no one else really supports Fulham, so you're always at the top of the list. But anyway, look, he's got himself involved. Producer Charlie's got himself involved. So let's talk about what's going to happen with your team,
kept
Charlie.
My head down.
Yeah,
I should have kept my head down.
You've let everyone knows you're here now, mate. So, are you going to do it?
So I've got, as I said to you guys before we started recording, I've got on Wednesday night, Arsenal have got to go to the Etihad and play Man City on the day that we're recording here. I've got that in my calendar this week as Arsenal lose the title. So I think for me...
That's what I like, confidence.
Yeah. A good Arsenal fan, that.
Look, I think I've been saying this all season, all year. You can ask anyone who's been around me. I've obviously been very excited, happy little fella, but... always with an air of caution, an air of you don't know anything for sure. You're just going to have to see how you go. I think for me now, probably chances are I don't think it's going to come together for us. There's such an ask. I mean, City are playing so well. We've stumbled recently a few times. it would be ridiculous. Stranger things have happened. It is the Premier League. You can't predict anything.
Yeah.
But if I was a betting man, I'd say it's probably not going to happen for us on Wednesday night.
I think he's playing it down, Alex.
It's one of the...
I'm
never going to write it off. I mean,
could you see it? Because if there's hope to be going around, I'll take some of it.
You're back in City all day long, but you know.
I mean, City are going for the treble. I mean, they're going on all three, aren't they? So ultimately, a couple of wins. I mean, you've got to keep winning. You've got to do that. Yeah. If you get. I think the next game's going to be a big one, but with anything in it, you just never know. Yeah. And actually, I said this earlier, Arsenal at Craven Cottage is the only time Fulham have been really beaten up this season. You know, we were played off the park from start to finish.
Yeah.
We haven't played City. We've got them coming at home, but we were in the game against City at the Etihad. They got a very late.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that on purpose because it was like, we're just going to play until we give a penalty away and Haaland will score the pen.
Yeah.
So they got a very late winner against us, but Arsenal came to the Cottage and absolutely battered us. And I say that with respect because like we it was men against boys in that game. So there's part of me that really wants your team to get something out of the season. I think it'll be good to see it mixed around.
I can't even think about the consequences of that, Peter.
Says the Motherwell fan from Surrey.
Jesus.
The Hearts fan from Surrey. Sorry,
the thought of them winning the title, I would just be I'd like it to
Have you ever supported Motherwell?
No.
Okay. So it says the Hearts fan from Surrey, no, hashtag not Motherwell.
The only satisfaction I'll have this season is if the title goes to the last game of the season and Arsenal blow in the last game of the season. That would give me great satisfaction.
That wouldn't surprise me either.
But, you know, sometimes the greatest, like anything in life, the greatest challenge you've got is the next match. And people lift themselves at the right times in life, you know, and that's why we never write it off.
It's true. You can't know for sure, and I think like, you know, it's not over until 90 minutes on Wednesday night. We'll see, but I think I've been saying this as well. We've got as Arsenal fans really got to not forget how far we've come this season. We've got to really keep our heads up and still feel really proud about the season that we've had, because if you told me that we get second at the beginning of the year, I would have bitten your hand off.
Sounds like a Tottenham fan, doesn't it? Really?
Oh, mate, look, we all look at football, and there's a saying at Fulham called Fulhamish, and it's kind of like what we say when things go wrong. It's Fulhamish, you know. We're never going to quite do it or whatever. But we won the championship last year. We strolled to that. We've punched well above our weight. We've been as high as 5th or 6th. Kind of, you know. We're probably going to finish somewhere between 8th and 12th. I've got a feeling it'd be 9th or 10th, probably. What a season that is for us 100%. In terms of we've avoided the relegation battle. You know, we are in a position now where hopefully we can build. But like any team like us, if Arsenal nick Paulinho from centre midfield and someone takes our good left back and, you know, Mitro gets himself banned again, you know, we're not the same football team.
100%.
What I think Arsenal have done is that they've got the shapings of a squad now which could compete, and they've backed their manager. Tottenham need to find a manager, they need to stick with him, and they need to let him build for the future, because the infrastructure's there. Almost like when the Emirates came, the Emirates, the ground, they put the ground before the club for a long time, before the team. Yeah. And Arsenal fans have said that to me.
100% they did. And Tottenham are doing the same thing now. I mean, COVID didn't help. Bad timing, building a stadium, you couldn't have got worse timing. But I do believe they're gearing up for a sell. I think the club will get sold in the next 2-3 years. But potentially.
That's like Fulham have spent like hundreds of millions of pounds on that new stand. That's going to be a very empty stand in the Championship.
Exactly.
So, you know, survival becomes absolutely integral. But that's the game. And I think from a Tottenham Hotspur and Heart of Midlothian perspective, from an Arsenal perspective, from a Fulham Football Club perspective, that's why we love it so much. You know, it's the hope that really hurts you. There are certain teams that get the glory. We don't, you know, and I'm okay with that. But I think for now, Charlie, I wish you boys all the best. Alex, I wish both your teams all the best.
Thank you.
And let's get back to what's important. Let's get back to stars of the future.
Yep.
So, Alex, what I want to do is I want to do two things really. I want to talk about the next generation. What do you think our industry needs right now in terms of its people? What do we need to go further, to go better? How can we attract the very best players, or the very best players of the future? Because there's a talent war out there. You know, everyone wants the best. So where do we attract them from? What do we do? And what would you say the industry's missing at the moment?
I mean, I was at the KBB Awards there last Thursday, and it's a good insight to who's going on that stage, who's picking up awards. We've got, you know, Young Designer of the Year, we've got Designers of the Year, we've got Showrooms of the Year, etc. And there is some younger faces starting to emerge again, which is great to see. You know, obviously we mentioned it earlier in the show that we're trying to do that from an internal point of view, but to get the next generation into the industry, you know, I look back at what I was doing. I'd done interior architecture with spatial design, but no one came into my college, university looking for that next generation. I know of certain companies out there that are doing a little bit of that, but there probably isn't enough of it. Is there? Are we creating qualifications for this industry?
Yeah.
Are we creating modules and learning modules and things? I don't know if we are. We do more and more internal training within the industry. Virtual Worlds is a good one. They've got modules to fulfill, and I think we need to do that externally somehow. How can we communicate that with the external part of the world? But that's, you know, everyone's got the base now to do it. We've got a network, a reach that we've never ever had before in the world. So we've got to get it out there. We've got to tap into those resources.
And I think we need to think, because, you know, if you listen to anything or you read anything and you follow everything on socials, you know, there's some brilliant work being done with apprenticeships. You've got some beautiful products here, you know, and if you take the furniture away, but if you take all the products that need to be installed, you know, then there is an immediate skill shortage in terms of quality installers, quality fitters, quality professionals that can actually give these products the homes they deserve. 100%. Yeah, they deserve to be beautifully homed and beautifully installed. So we've got a talent problem there, all right? And I think competing now is completely different, because you are dealing with individuals that want flexible working. You're dealing with digital nomads who perhaps don't want to give 10, 15 years of their life to one business and walk away with a watch and a plaque on the wall. They want to travel, they want to work, they want to try different things. You're dealing with individuals that might want to one day work a 4-day week. Not an 8-day week like me and you, Alex.
It's getting closer that way.
We're 30 hours a day, 8 days a week. It's an impossible, unforgiving task. But there's a younger generation, and I applaud it, that actually say, well, work-life balance is important to me. I want to graft and I want to be successful, but can I perhaps do it on my terms? Some of small pockets of our industry that are waking up to that, but that's a step change, because actually that's if you've got opening hours and closing hours and contractual hours, to even think about how you change that when you've got a workforce and a model in place, it's unforgiving to try and do that.
It's certainly happening.
But if we don't position ourselves as an industry that will change, we may miss out on some of the very best of the next generation. And if you look at some of the creators, the influencers, the trailblazers, look at brands like Gymshark, look at what Stephen Bartlett did with Social Chain. These young lads at the time, young boys and girls, they're actually having it off in terms of what they're achieving, but they're writing their own agendas.
Absolutely.
So we've got to bring that talent into our industry. I think if you look at those awards you went to, you look around the tables, there's probably a lot of the same. And
there's still a lot of the same faces.
We've got to try and mix that up, and we've got to try and perhaps reach into some of the more diverse communities and bring some talented in. I believe there's a talent pool in individuals that have got disabilities, whether that's a neurodivergent disability, whether it's a physical disability, whatever. But there's some talent there that can add so much value from a business development, design, innovation perspective. How do we make it attractive to them? And how do we get them there? And that, as an industry, as a conversation, mate, we've got to keep having that.
It's a huge shift in thought, in thought there. But I've got a couple of showrooms that in London in particular, and I'm talking, big retail brands that I'm referring to, and they've got people that are not working in the showroom environment, for example. They might be working from home, but they're actually some of the individuals that are excelling way more than somebody that's working in the bricks and mortar showroom side of it. So it just shows you it can work, but there isn't enough of those retailers embracing that. Everyone's too worried about it, because I used my previous places. You can't see what you can't see, but doesn't mean to say it's not getting done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there's not maybe the trust aspects, the old school trust aspect. If I can't see you running around all day,
mate,
doesn't mean to say you're.
I had a surreal moment the other week, and I was the phone went. It was I can't remember what day, it was Wednesday afternoon, late Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
About 5:20 5, something like that. It was like crackerjack time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like 4:45, 5:15, something like that. Show me age when I say crackerjack time. But you know, that's a kids program in the past, Charlie Hula. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Search on YouTube.
Yeah, he's going to find it. But it was around that time, and like the phone's ringing. I'm the only one here, so I'm answer the phone.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I could see other lines were engaged, and I looked around and I thought, like, where's it all gone wrong? Why am I the only one here? And then I thought, actually, no, they're doing that. They're on the phone there. They're doing that. That's all right. I'll happily talk to anyone. But it's that getting your head round that.
Yeah.
I guess, we're lucky that we got ahead of the curve because we like to be available when people aren't working.
Yeah.
So being available late in the evening means we can talk to people after work. So how can I get my team available late in the evening? Well, let them start late. You know, start late and work late.
It's a balance point, isn't it?
And you just approach yourself that the output, the result, what we achieve is what the measure should be on, not on clocking. I mean, when I started work, you clocked in and clocked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and physically you clocked in. That was many moons ago. So I think the industry itself has some challenges, and it really does have some challenges, and that is going to affect our styles of the future, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%, because they work on a different time.
Yeah.
You know, like you mentioned there, I'm on my phone all night. Like, there's not an hour goes by where I won't pick it up. There'll be something, might be LinkedIn, social media, Instagram. I'm looking at what we posted throughout the day. You know, we know that social media at 7 o'clock at night is the most key point and a key time to hit, things like that. So it's a 24/7 business. It always will be, but as I say, you've got to have some juxtaposition and a bit of flexibility. The goalposts are not in concrete, you know what I mean? We can move them.
And I do think the next generation, and there's often a misconception when I talk styles of the future, because that doesn't necessarily mean the younger generation. I'm talking about people that could come into our industry and add value, and that could be someone mature in experience. It could be someone from a very different sector that could come in and make a massive contribution. People say to me, like, where do you get your influences from? What do you look to? I don't look just within my industry. I look well outside.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I look well outside it, and it might be professional sport, it might be fashion, or I mentioned something earlier, but it can come from anywhere, and you get different values. And I read a lot, and that helps. But for me, in terms of what we should be doing, I honestly think the starting point is to showcase what's available and to shout it loud and to have a consistent message that we want to bring in talented people. Every brand can do it, and I think if you take examples of what you're doing with Chloe and Charlie, who you mentioned, that you're investing in them for the medium to long term development.
Moses is another one. Yeah,
what a great lad, by the way.
Moses came from originally worked for us in Dubai, and he's been here in the UK for just over a year now, and
good dress sense. He's got
good dress sense,
by the way.
and he's going back out to work for us again in Dubai. So we've got the flexibility, and then we've got other individuals, like Kit that's here as well. We've got an eclectic mix. Kit's been here over 10 years, so. If you can evolve with people, you're going to retain them.
I think that's
one
of the messages I say a lot, is that if we want to develop the next generation, we've got to look beyond hitting the ground running. We've got to think about what someone can become in the medium to long term. If someone never gave me a chance, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Likewise.
So we all need a chance, and I think that's really, really, really important.
Yeah.
So let's focus on that, Alex. So let's look at you in your position. We've got the next generation here, people who want to transfer into the industry. What 3 pieces of advice would you be giving to people, mate? You've got to put yourself out there. You've got to be using that quote that you mentioned from me. I can't even remember the quote I used now. It's off the top of my cuff, but I do, mate. It's getting comfortable, feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, but that's one. That's definitely one, and I'll refer back to that because.
I mean, that is officially mine now, because I've used it so many times.
You can have it.
Charlie's laughing. I use it all the time, don't I?
But it's true.
I occasionally mention Alex, but not that many times. Yeah.
But I'll get it back out there now.
Yeah.
But it's true, because a good friend of mine's got a hotel up in Scotland. It was his parents, and he's got one himself, so he now manages the whole infrastructure. He's just done 50 videos on LinkedIn, posted all over it, and it's to mark the 50 years anniversary. Now, He's never done that before. He's never sat in front of that camera before. He's got a team like Charlie coming in, sound, video, and you've got to embrace these things. You've got to do something different. You've got to put yourself out of your comfort zone. The younger generation are probably better at that than somebody at my age. I'm not going to mention that, but because you hope from an education point of view, that's what they're getting taught now at school.
I mean, we had a previous guest, Josh, and he mentioned that big time, and I joke about it. I like to say I'm down with the kids. I like to think I'm still connected. But mate, I'm 48 years young. So what someone at 16, 17, 18 years of age can do with technology, with music, with just general life is very different to what my skill set is. So it's one of the reasons I work so well with Charlie Huda there, because you surround yourself with someone who's talented and professional and creative. It can only add value. And I think that's what we have to do as leaders, and we have to do as businesses and people like yourself, is let them in. Let them in, let them go, see what they can bring. Worst thing you can do is bring someone in and kind of, we've always done it this way, we're never going to change, because that's no good. I've had that with a couple who've started me recently, and like, okay, so what's the process? I'm like, well, it's very different. How we work with that business is very different to how we work with that business. Why is that? Because they're very different businesses. They're very different people.
Different people,
okay. And once you understand that, and you realise you have a bespoke approach which suits that business and the challenges they're under, you're in danger of becoming really successful. But it's attention to detail. So we're going to get comfortable feeling uncomfortable. What's the next one?
It goes on the back of that. You've got to put yourself out there in the public domain. You got to be heard. And speak openly. Don't be a recluse. Don't put yourself in a little box and park it, or sit in the corner. Coming into a company, be vocal. If you're not allowed to be vocal, then for me there's a problem in that company. I try not to make a decision on my own. I might make the final decision, I might make the final call on it, because that's my job role to do.
I've noticed that in the recruitment, actually. You won't have an opinion early on. You kind of like, I remember that.
Yeah.
So you're true to that as well.
So an interview process, I might interview someone, but I'll let them, and they'll go, you don't need to know what I think, I want to know what you think. And then we'll get together, because you don't want to cloud people's judgment. So don't let somebody cloud your own judgment coming in. Have your own viewpoint, and as I say, trying to. So
there's two big points. We're going to get So your advice is get comfortable feeling uncomfortable, and be you.
Yeah,
right?
100% be you.
Things. What will be the hat-trick ball, mate? What's the third piece of advice for you?
Tough one. The skill sets are important, but they're not the fundamental, because the skills you can learn. I'm trying to think what I want to see in someone now, and that's just, you just got to be open with people. You've got to be straight talk. If you're honest with people, you'll get honesty back. So just be a straight shooter. I think communicate, talk all the time. There's no hampering that whatsoever.
Powerful advice, because if you break that down and you go back the other way, you're talking about being honest. Communicate, be yourself. So we need you first of all to be yourself, because it's the real you that's going to be successful. It's the real you that's going to be unsuccessful. So let's see what you're about as a person. Be confident, communicate, believe in yourself, and put yourself out there. Those steps every single one of us can take. They're as much life skills as they are classroom learnt skills. And actually, if you take that and you put that into any industry you want, you're in danger of being successful.
I think it was one of your recent episodes. It might even be the last. I think it was Paul in your last episode.
Paul Hetherington,
and he mentioned something about don't be interviewed. You can interview as well, and I think he's spot on in my opinion.
Yeah,
because
he said pick a boss.
People that you've brought to the table. I want to interview them, but I don't generally run it through the list of questions. I want to know them as an individual. I want them to interview me. I want them to go away going, actually, I want to work for that person, that company. So for me, that's an important factor. Sound them out. So think about where you're going and who you're going to work for. You might go for a job role, but actually might go, do you know what, it wasn't for me. You don't have to take a job role if you get offered it sometimes. So think about the job role you're going to take.
And if you're job searching, I know people's pressure levels are different.
This is the thing,
But you're not helping yourself if you're applying for every position you see on a job board. What really, and it's hard to do this because you never know someone's circumstances. And through the redundancy support we're doing, I deal with some quite heartbreaking situations. But you're still saying to people, this is a chance to reset. Yeah. And actually, your advice, it transcends anyone. And you know, the Sunnypex story is a powerful story. The Bang Design story is very, very powerful as well. So thank you for sharing it, mate.
Pleasure.
All right? Really, really good. It's been great to get you back on the show.
Thank you for having us.
I know the football chat was a bit uncomfortable for you guys because like
more uncomfortable this time.
He's nervous. Your teams are failing miserably. Yeah. My team are punching above their weight. So you know, we could just stop now because we're not going to go down. We might beat our record,
You're all right.
We might beat our record points total, but it's been fantastic. It's only our second location podcast.
Well, it's nice to have you here.
It's a special one to come up and do, or just come across and do. But I think we just need to finish talking about Clerkenwell Design Week. Yeah. So what are you offering the community during that passage of play?
So it's the first time I've been actively involved in it. Where I was previously, we didn't have a showroom in a kind of location to be part of it wholly. Obviously, a lot of big brands around in the surrounding areas around here. So we're part of that. We signed up to it this year, so we'll have a lot of traffic directed in our direction, one would hope. But we're in the A&D community. We've got our own, on the 23rd, we've got a closed shop that we're doing with one of the top designers. But we were lucky. We've had Conran and Partners here last week, Dan Check, Ashley, who's our design and specification. So we're writing a lot of specs.
Yeah.
We're creating specs. We want to work with the merchants, the retailers that are also merchants as well, because they have a bit of a crossover sometimes. Because we're putting investment in, and then we want them to invest in us because we're showing willing as well. So we want them to then come and use the space we've got all week. So the doors are going to be open all week, and we encourage the footfall, the designers, the architects, and and young creative talent that's out there. We want them to come and see it, come and see the products, get behind it, and get selling it.
I mean, honestly, mate, I've got absolutely no doubt that it's going to be a success for you here. As we said earlier, just the general warmth of the welcome here for us, that's powerful in itself. I think it's been great to catch up with yourself.
Thank you.
It's been great to get you back onto the podcast. The Foy and Jones show is only as good as our guests. It's only as good as what content we can put out there. And for me, being able to send a message to the industry, which is about inspiration, it's about real life and real personalities and real people's journeys. That's something special, and I think we're in the podcast on that because actually the next generation, the generations we have now, the industry's in a strong place.
Yeah.
We've got challenges ahead. We see about the challenges on the news every day, but if you get up in the morning and you love what you do and you're smiling and you've got something to put together, do you know what? You can overcome all the lows because the highs are there. And that's what this episode's all about, mate. So Alex Cooper, thank you,
mate,
for coming back on the show. You're one appearance away from a hat-trick ball, mate.
It is noted.
One appearance away from the hat-trick ball. From Charlie and I, thank you so much for listening. It's been Alex has been a brilliant guest. It's been a brilliant podcast. We'll see you next week. That was episode 9 of season 6 of the Foy and Jones show. And each and every time, with our guests, with our passion, with our personality, we're going to inspire our stars of the future.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as I said, that's the end of the show. Thanks for listening. Make sure you check out next week's episode as we will keep inspiring our stars of the future.